In Revelation chapter 3, in verse 7, we come to the next church in the list of 7 churches that Jesus had these messages written and sent to. We come today in Revelation chapter 3, verse 7, to the church in Philadelphia. As it says, to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, "These things says he who is holy, he who is true, he who has the key of David, he who opens and no one shuts, and shuts and no one opens." Again, Jesus describing himself in each of these letters to the churches. And here describing himself as the one who is holy, who is true, who has the key of David, he says, who shuts and no one opens, opens, no one shuts. He has all power. He has all authority. He is God. He is Lord. He is King. And he writes saying this in verse 8, as in all of these, he says to those in Philadelphia, "I know your works." God knows. Jesus knows. Jesus sees. He knows the works and the things that have been going on there in the lives of the brethren there in Philadelphia and all around. So what does he say about them? We've seen some already, that some have some good, some bad, some are kind of all bad, some are all good. Well, here he writes to them saying this, "See, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. For you have a little strength, have kept my word, and have not denied my name." So the Lord says that he has opened for them an open door, and no one can shut it against them. He has provided blessings for them and help and hope, because they have a little strength. And even though they have only a little strength, they have persevered, they have endured, they have been faithful, because they have kept his word. He says, "You have kept my word, and you have not denied my name." They have been faithful. They have stayed faithful, even though they've endured some challenging things. As he goes on to say in verse 9, "Indeed, I will make those of the synagogue of Satan," he says, "who say that they are Jews and are not, but lie. Indeed, I will make them come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you." Sounds like the evil and the persecution and the things being done to these brethren that these Christians have endured. They have been faithful. They have not given up. They have not given in. Jesus here pronounces judgment upon these that he calls are of the synagogue of Satan, who lie. "They will come and worship before your feet to know that I have loved you," he says. And verse 10, he says to them, "Because you have kept my commandment to persevere," because they have been patient, because they have persevered and endured through all of these trials and tribulations they have already faced. He says, "Because you have kept my command to persevere, I also will keep you from the hour of trial which will come upon the whole world, to test those who dwell on the earth." Imagine that. Here this great testing and trial was going to come upon earth. But yet Jesus says that he would protect them, he would keep them from this hour of trial. And really because they've proven themselves already faithful, they've persevered, they've endured. And then he says, "Behold, I am coming quickly. Hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown." So even though, yes, up to this point they have endured, they have persevered, they have been faithful, he still tells them to hold fast. Because there's still the possibility of them being tempted and tried and tested and maybe giving up, maybe quitting. So he tells them, he encourages them on to continue to be faithful, to hold fast, that no one may come along and take your crown, that no one may come along and deceive them or pressure them or persecute them to fall away and give up. And again, he says to them as well, "He who overcomes," see, they still got to overcome. They still got to be faithful. They still got to keep going. He says, he who overcomes, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God, and he will go out no more. I will write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my God. And I will write on him my new name. These are the blessings, the imagery, the things that Jesus says of eternal blessings, reward, and hope that will come upon those who overcome, those who remain faithful, those who endure. They will be a pillar in the temple of God. They will have the name of God and the new name of Jerusalem written upon them. Jesus would write his name upon them. And then finally, verse 13, as to all of them, he says yet again, he who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. They still needed to listen and to hear, to follow, to be faithful, to endure, to hold fast. They had proven themselves, though, up to this point, and God was going to spare them from some of the challenges, the testing that was coming. But still, they were going to have to be faithful. They were still going to have to hold on. They were going to have to hold on to that hope, to not quit, to not give up, to not give in. And it's a reminder to us to be faithful. You know, there are so many things in different ways we can be tested in this world, tested by the temptations of sin, by the persecutions of a sinful world. We can be tested by just the trials and tribulations of a physical earthly life that has pain and sorrow and weakness and sadness and frustrations and anger. I mean, there are so many things that can test us and try us, but we need to be like these brethren in Philadelphia, who with the strength that God gives us is to hold on, to persevere, to endure in patience, to trust and hope in the Lord no matter what, so that we can be partakers of these eternal blessings. So let's stay faithful. I don't know what you're going through. We all have our challenges. We all have things we're dealing with in our life. What Satan wants us to do is to give up and to quit. But Jesus comes to us and says, no, don't quit. Don't throw away your hope. Don't let someone take away your crown of life. Be faithful, endure. The promise of God is true. It is real. Hold fast, stand firm, be faithful unto death. If we overcome, we will receive the eternal blessings that God has waiting for us. And thanks be to God for that. So hang in there, hold fast, stay faithful to God, and encourage one another. God bless.